Welcome back to The Boys in the Iceberg, the podcast, where we watch The Legend of Korra. As always, I am Caleb Ader.
And I'm Harley Davis.
And we've finally gotten to a couple of good episodes this week, Harley.
My favorite episodes.
Yes, so far.
Well, no, I think looking back, or remembering at least, these are my favorite episodes.
I mean, I don't think you can speak for the entire series yet. You haven't seen the other ones yet. So
I have.
I mean, not yet.
I mean, I have.
But we haven't rewatched them yet.
Rewatched them? No, yeah.
Of course.
No, not for a second time.
Of course, that's what I'm talking about.
Initial viewership, though, I remember these being favorite. These are the ones that actually stood out to me. Looking back, I vaguely remembered certain scenes, but this whole story arc with Juan were the ones that actually stood out to me in remembrance.
Yeah.
Of the whole series.
Yeah, so we've got Beginnings, Part 1 and 2. And if you keep drawing on that, I swear I'm going to smack you.
Please don't.
Because that's obviously making noise.
Is it really?
Obviously.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
It'll be all right. You can't hear anything. Listen, let's go. Okay, you can kind of hear something.
Yeah. Yeah, so we got Beginnings, Part 1 and 2, right?
Yeah, it was written by Michael Dante DiMartino. I don't have any other information. A bunch of guest stars, but it doesn't matter.
Well, how about you give me like an overview?
An overview? Is that what you're looking for?
I think that's what we're doing.
All right, so in order to cleanse herself from a dark spirit's attack, Korra must reconnect with her avatar spirit by finding Rava. To do so, she needs to learn about the origins of the first avatar, Juan. He tells her how...
I get it.
He tells her how he received the power of fire and learned the ways of spirits, as well as how he was the one responsible for unleashing Vatu, the spirit of darkness, into the world. That's the first episode. Which, yeah, Juan. That's pretty funny.
So, I mean, define funny.
Funny, haha.
Not going to say it because this is a family podcast.
I think families just sit around and listen to us.
Oh yeah. I think that most of our viewership, if you could call it that, is family-based.
There's a very white suburban family.
Well, I never said like white. That's racist.
Like
but,
the Johnsons, they get together every Thursday afternoon.
Racist.
It's time to listen to the podcast.
They sit around one of those old-timey radios, and the kids are sitting up like glued to it, and they're like turning the dial up. That's what I imagine as a family. But yeah, we get some of Juan's story, which was the original Avatar.
Which I pointed out. I like that the Avatar hasn't been here since the beginning of time. Like it was created by this spirit human thing. Like I don't know. It wasn't really a fight. Well, it didn't start out as a scuffle. He did it to himself. You know.
I'm trying to see what you're saying right now, but I don't know if I'm following.
I'm not really following.
That's the second episode.
Yeah, no. No, when he's the first episode when he takes the fire. That's the first episode.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay.
The second episode is the fight.
Yeah, I understand that. I don't know what you're saying then.
I like that he's just, the Avatar hasn't been here since the Lion Turtles, the beginning of the Lion Turtles, hasn't been here since the beginning of Spirits. It was just a thing that was created.
Yeah.
Like,
well, why don't we get into a little bit of backstory? This episode actually starts off with Avatar Korra doing, or she's still like amnesiac or something like that.
Yeah, she's still Jason Bourne.
But for some reason the guys have to carry her into the temple or whatever it is.
Because apparently you can't walk.
She's still on a stretcher.
You just forgot how to walk.
And then this weird lady comes out who like has. It looks like she's doing healing, but with fire. Like it looks like what Katara or someone would do healing wise, but just with fire.
I guess I remember her like putting her hands on her and like firebending, but I guess I didn't draw that parallel.
I don't know. That's just what it looked like to me.
Neat.
I think it's more of a spiritual thing though, because she doesn't actually like touch them.
No, she doesn't. So it's anyways, yeah. So there's the old lady, and she's there to help Korra in whatever way she can, which is convenient. I mean, it's convenient that she washed up here.
I think maybe it was the spirits who willed it.
Fates
Fates,
aligned.
yes. They pulled the string on her life and
nipped it with those giant rusty scissors.
No, because that would kill her. That's what that does.
That would end this series.
Yeah, but she says something. The old lady says something like, "Oh, Korra has to, I don't know, go down into the water and talk to herself."
It's like a spirit pool.
Yeah, it's kind of like the pool at the North Pole. With,
yeah,
Twee and Law.
Yeah, okay, with the fishies.
But Korra goes down in there and then has a vision of herself. But not just herself, other herself.
Well, it starts
From
out
the
with
last
herself.
part. Yes, but not just.
Which was pretty cool. And then it goes into Aang, and then Roku, and then Kyoshi, and then Kuruk. And then it fades into this. Kuruk says, you need to go visit the first of you to discover who you really are.
And then this weird Asian kind of looking guy pops up.
Yeah.
Well, he sounds like an Asian.
Stephen Yin.
I mean,
Who was Glenn from The Walking Dead.
we don't have to name names.
I mean, I'm gonna.
Yeah, so she's like, who is this character? This weird looking guy.
And he says, I am Stephen Yin.
No, he doesn't.
Played Glenn on Walking Dead.
He does not say that.
Let me guide you.
No. He might say, let me guide you. I don't remember. But then he gives Korra, it's basically like a flashback.
But set in like a story. Like, it's not just...
Yeah.
Like, it's
Which
not
is
just...
what a flashback
No, it's
is.
not... Like, it's a whole story arc, though. I mean, it's not just like little snippets of... I guess when I picture a flashback, I just picture like little memories. I guess I'm wrong in that
You're
scenario.
thinking Lost too much.
Like little... What do you mean?
Like, you're thinking like a Lost style flashback. I think a flashback can refer to anything.
No, not like that. I'm thinking like when somebody has... Like, an individual has their flashback.
Like when you see like wavy lines on the screen.
No?
Yeah, and it goes... And then you see like what happened before, and then it comes back.
Oh, that stupid game. That Via Domos game that I bought.
No, I'm not talking
Okay.
about Lost. This is just in general. Like you
No.
see like a
little
ripple.
like you
on
don't
the screen.
you don't get the full memory. Like you just get little snippets. Like this was
Yeah.
played out as a story. Like beginning to end, there were characters involved. Like it was pretty cool. But I guess I had a different concept of flashbacks. That's on me, I guess.
Yeah, so we flash back to Juan, and he's got a real Aladdin thing going on here. He's a thief, a ne'er do well, a street rat, if you will.
Well,
Really, you have to. Yeah, but he's stealing money. He's got to stay one jump ahead of the breadline, if you will, and I will. So he's like stealing from the is it Chows?
Jews.
Are you sure?
It's
spelled CHOU.
It's Chew. They've pronounced it a billion different times. In
This is like the nobility of this city that may or may not be on the back of a larger creature. We don't know yet.
Yeah, and they're kind of jerks.
Well, I mean, they're getting
pompous.
stolen from.
Yeah, but not only that, they're pompous.
No, you just shouldn't steal. Just a
No,
word
you
to the wise.
shouldn't. No, at the start there, the PSA: do not steal.
But yeah, he's stealing like crumbs or something like that. I don't remember, scraps.
No, actually, he's stealing full rolls.
But he doesn't make it back with full rolls.
No, he makes it back with like broken, dirty rolls.
Yeah, he makes it back to his like his hideout, I guess. I don't know what you call it. And there's a couple other people there. And then he makes it, or he channels Snow White or any Disney princess and calls some animals in, then feeds them the remainder of what he has, which is just scraps.
And he says, "I don't want to eat scraps
Which is,
anymore.
if you're starving, you don't say that. Like, that's not something you say if you're starving.
I long for the high life. I will.
Why can't we all live like Chews?
I will break out of here
Why can't we choose how we will live?
and become the Aladdin of my own story."
And he says, verbatim says that.
All of those words.
But Jaya says, but we can't do that. The Chews are Chews and we're not Chews.
Now, remember that. Remember Jaya, whatever you pronounce his name. He comes into play
Yes.
later on in the story. So remember that name, Jaya.
One thing I had written down here is in this flashback of sorts, the animal fusions that we've seen so far, I think they were like a pig, sheep, like pig, chicken, something like
the
that.
pig chicken was one of
They
them.
were real weird looking, a lot weirder than anything we've seen previous to this in the series. Siri? In the Siri. Yes, in the Siri up to so Avatar: The Last Airbender and Legend of Korra, these are like they have real big heads on real small bodies. They don't look right. So I'm wondering if this is like the first incarnation of these animals.
This is the first of the scientists making these creatures.
I think we've said that we don't have scientists at that.
No,
point.
I still believe there's a group of just madmen just trying to. I don't know. I'm at a loss for words here.
We do get to meet a human fusion, I guess you would call him. It's a tree guy. Tree Man.
Yao Yowie.
Is that his name? I just wrote down Tree Man.
YAO. So Yao.
What? Yeah, okay, that's fine.
Which we find out
Because he Juan's saying that he's going to go out into the spirit wilds, which is outside of the village, and go find some food. And this guy goes, "No, don't do that. You'll get turned into something weird, like me, a tree man,
Half tree, half man.
all man, half
Half tree, half man, all peasant.
all man," which is funny to me because he's not all man; he's half tree. But yeah, he's very wary of Juan going out in the spirit wilds, but they just brush him off, and they're like, "I don't care. I'm hungry. I want to go get some food."
We're not doing this episode justice at all.
I mean, we're just talking about it. They can watch it if they want to.
I mean, please go watch this episode. If you
I
don't,
don't know if people who listen to this do actually watch it. I feel like they don't.
The 5 remaining viewers that we have, because our viewership is falling off since we started doing Korra, we'll come back for you guys. Okay, we'll pick you guys up later on a different podcast.
I think we just do Avatar: The Last Airbender again.
But just we'll do episodes of our episodes.
That would be funny. Or just, I think it'd be pretty cool to revisit Avatar: The Last Airbender.
But anyways,
I don't want to. That would be terrible.
If you don't watch any other Korra episodes, please watch these 2 episodes.
These are very good.
If you watch the Avatar: The Last Airbender episodes, you'll appreciate these 2.
Yeah, and they're not Korra centric. Korra shows up a couple times.
She shows up at the beginning of this one and
in the middle a little bit.
Does she?
Yeah,
I remember her being at the beginning of the next one and the end of the next one.
And she is at the end of this one too.
She has like one line in these 2 little episodes.
Which, why? We don't need Korra in these episodes. They're good enough with just Juan. I don't even think you needed. What would have been really cool is if they don't set it up in the story at all, and it just starts off with Juan, and they don't explain it. I think that would have been really cool if they would have done that.
Giving us a few more seconds of Juan time.
Yeah,
little one-on-one.
Oh. So the next thing that Juan does is goes out with the hunt to go get some food for the village, I guess you call it, the town.
The town.
And this is one of my favorite parts of these episodes. Definitely my favorite theme is they go out, and the way that they're going to get this food is by talking to the lion turtle, in which the town rests upon its back. And the lion turtle energy bends them and gives them the power of fire.
And the idea is that when they get the fire, they go out, do their stuff, and come back and return the fire to the lion turtle. That's the idea. So Juan goes out with them, and then at the very last minute,
I feel like we're brushing over the lion turtle part of this, which is my favorite. I love everything about it.
I've gathered that.
Yeah, and it's really cool because the way that the lion turtle bestows the bending power to them is exactly the same way that he gave Aang the energy bending power in Avatar: The Last Airbender, which reminds me, it's like a trivia thing. It's very reminiscent of that.
So they, not they. The lion turtle bestows the power of fire onto these guys. It's like
do they just do it does he just give it to Juan? Because that's all we see.
No, he gives it to all of them.
Does he?
But we only do see Juan. I think that's just because we're following Juan's story.
Probably.
So he goes out, and they go to this to kill animals for it's a hunt, So they got to kill these, we got a thing. We can't tell which one's animals, which one's animal spirit hybrid, or which one's just
because
spirits. There's a lot of weird things.
Some of them are spirits, but look like just a morphed version of animals. Yeah. And then some of them are not spirits, but live in the spirit
We'll get to that in a minute. We haven't quite met the spirits.
Yeah. So, and one of the big things that Juan, before going out on this hunt, the guy in charge of the hunt was very concerned because he didn't know Juan, that Juan would be a chicken and cower whenever they face some danger.
And he does.
Yes.
Or does he? No, he does, but for his own reasons.
He wants to steal the fire.
Yeah, and he does, which is crazy that this completely dishonest guy, this is what I don't get, okay? You told me to write this down earlier. I didn't write it down because I knew I was going to remember it because I had the same problem when I originally watched it. This guy, who was a thief, okay? I mean, they showed little snippets of him being kind when he had 2 friends. I mean, he's friendly. And the little creatures came in to eat with him, so I guess, he's friend to the animals.
But, they set that up very nicely.
They set that up terribly.
Well, I mean, he's friend to the animals.
It was nice. But it seems like he has like a 180 change of heart when he goes out in the spirit world. Like he goes out there, and so what happens? He steals the fire, comes back on the lion turtle, back to the town. Right, doesn't return it to the lion turtle. He now has the fire in the village,
and he decides that he's going to be a rebel and use his newfound power to take on the Chews.
and he robs the Chews.
Well, he tries to rob the Chews.
Well, he succeeds.
Not really.
Everybody else takes the stuff and they get out, and he's the only one that gets caught.
Okay, well, yeah. He rallies up this group and they run in. He's firebending everyone, and he busts into the storage chamber with like the food and stuff. I guess the grain, and the other guys go in there and make off with all the loot. But when Juan is presented with an opportunity to, I guess, kill one of the Chews,
He gets cornered by the Chews, and he does this little distraction thing so everybody else can get away. And he goes to this is a cool thing he does. He creates this circle of fire, a ring of fire, if you will, around himself and the smallest of the Chews. And he maintains the fire ring.
I think
it spins.
I think that
really
it's just
cool.
for dramatic effect. I don't think that it's actually like.
It's neat though.
And I think it was a slow motion as well.
Eh.
It looks slow motiony.
Eh.
I mean, we'll have to go back and rewatch it.
Shucks.
Okay, we just rewatched it, and it is in fact in slow motion.
No.
We just watched it, and I showed you how it was in slow motion.
No.
His hair moves slower and
Let's
stuff
watch
like
it
that.
again, then, man. You see what I was saying? It doesn't
No.
look slow motion at all.
No, yeah, it was. I showed you his hair.
I don't.
I guess we have to watch it one more time. You see what I'm saying now?
Sure, I guess. I'll take your whatever.
Okay. Yeah. So during this commotion, the youngest of the Chews rips off his mask that he had on.
Whoa. Could have been the oldest.
No.
Size-wise.
No, I'm pretty
It
sure.
was the smallest.
I'm pretty sure he was the youngest. Anyway,
That size is
Juan had a mask on, as did all the other rebels, and it gets ripped off. So now they know who the culprit is, and Juan refuses to light this guy on fire.
and he calls Juan a coward. And then the fire just goes away, and
See?
they tackle him.
That's how they set him up. They
As
set
a
him up.
coward?
Yeah, well, not as a coward, but
As a beatnik?
but he's like more in tune with the spirits in that sense that he does have a kind heart. See,
He might have a kind heart,
see,
but his actions are not showing that except for that one action.
no, and
He's just stealing things, man.
and he's concerned
Stealing
about
things
his
stealing-
friends.
He stole the food.
Aladdin had a
Jews.
heart from Jews.
Choose.
Oh,
Choose.
Hey, I wonder if there's a parallel there.
And he stole the fire from the lion turtle. Like, the lion turtle was like, all right, listen, just bring it back. We'll be totally square. I'll copacetic. And he's like, no, I think I want to be extremely dishonest and be the first human ever to steal the fire. That's what I'm going to do.
That's fine. I don't know if he was the first human ever
I mean,
to steal the fire.
maybe.
Because there was a precedent that he was going to be banished because he took the fire inside the town.
And the lion turtle lets him keep the fire
Yeah,
after that. I didn't like
because
that either.
no, I did like that because
I mean, it makes sense to him being the avatar, leading into him to being the avatar, but I didn't like it.
So they're going to banish Juan, and they go take him before the lion turtle to receive his punishment, which is banishment. And he pleads to the fire turtle, "Please let me keep my fire, or else I'm going to die out there." So the lion turtle's like, "Okay, you can never enter this city again, but you can keep your fire, so you can live."
And then it proceeds to show us a day in the life of Juan in the Spirit Wilds. And this was where we get confused on the different kinds of spirits. Because the grass doesn't have a face or a voice. Is it just a spirit? Because it comes alive and takes them down into itself.
I think that
There are spirit blobs, which, like the guy with the mask, it's just a green blob. That talk, and they're cute. And then there's the animal, who is less transparent and can talk and is not so cute. But then there are stuff that, like... then there's the actual animal that he befriends called Moolah, who doesn't talk, but is just an animal. And they were going to eat him. Do they eat all spirits? Is Moolah a spirit?
Mullah's not a spirit.
I'm so confused.
We got confirmation of this because
From
he sent all the spirits to the spirit world.
Except for Moolah,
In
because
the
he likes
second
Moolah.
No, Mullah's not spirits.
Maybe he just likes Moolah.
And I guess that also sets up because so what happens next is we see Juan. He's not doing too well. He's having a tough time of it out in the spirit wilds, as they're known. But he finds this oasis, and he goes to get into the oasis, and then there's this weird. I don't know what it is.
They call it an eye spirit.
Which is but that doesn't.
I don't know why they
describe
wouldn't give it a name.
They did. I.
No, they didn't.
Yeah.
It says I Spirit. And
That's
it's lowercase.
okay.
It's not.
No,
a name,
it's not.
It is. Look it up.
It is not. I looked it up earlier.
Look it up now.
It's right here.
It's not right here.
Look, you see it right there?
No.
Yeah, it's right there.
Nope.
Yes, it is.
No.
It's listed.
The one I looked on was not capitalized.
As Spirit I.
That is dumb.
No, that's the name of the spirit. It's I. So now that we're in agreement,
We're not in
that
agreeance.
also.
No.
In agreement, that's not a word.
What is now?
Yeah. So now we're
Right there. See lowercase. Boom, boom, boom.
Where is that?
Underneath the picture. See it?
Well, I that's not what he's listed at. So that's editorialized.
Also, they didn't call him I.
I don't think they
just
called him
didn't
anything.
call him anything. I think they should have given that character a name because at the end of the second episode, listen, in the show, because at the end of the second episode, when they when it comes to a head, like I feel like it would have been more impactful if they would give him a name. I'm like, oh, who's this guy?
Hey, maybe spirits don't have to have gender non-conforming name or gender conforming names. Maybe you shouldn't misgender this spirit, Harley.
If anything, I was just misnaming it. How is I one sex or the other?
Spirits have. Hey, so you're saying there's only two sexes
now?
Maybe
I am.
Oh. Okay, so whatever the case with the spirit is, he stops. Apparently, it's his oasis, and he stops.
Or hers.
Well, no, his.
Hers.
It's voiced by a man. So yeah, well, I mean, not really, but anyway, the spirit stops him from getting, or Juan stops him from getting into the oasis, and says all humans just want to destroy things, and the such.
How do you feel about that, Caleb?
Yeah, I don't. What are you talking about?
Well,
I don't care one way or the other.
That's not any kind of propaganda, do you?
No, not really. I mean, of course, humans want to destroy things.
Just pick and choose your battles, don't you?
I think that you're looking for propaganda in it.
Oh.
So what happens next is that Juan is kicked out of the oasis
Multiple times,
and he stumbles across a net that has this cat deer in it.
Moolah.
I mean, we don't know that yet.
It becomes Moolah.
I mean, why don't you not jump ahead in the story?
No, I'm gonna.
And so he's like, "Oh, I'm going to eat that. I'm going to eat that cat deer, and I'm going to have it in me, and it's going to make me feel real nice and satiated." But he goes up to firebend the crap out of it, and then it looks at him like with puppy dog eyes.
It doesn't.
Or puppy.
I noticed that when I watched this episode. It doesn't. It actually growls at him.
No,
like, it's aggressive.
No.
Watch it again.
Oh.
It is. He just decides that he's not going to eat the animal because
maybe
that's dumb.
Maybe that's not a change of heart, because even though the animal is being kind of angry with him, he still has this kind-heartedness.
No, on an individual level, I will not accept it, because
Why?
if they would have made the
That's
animal
ridiculous.
whimper and kind of do the puppy dog eyes and stuff like that, and been like, I see this animal is cute and has some kind of emotions, I should not kill this animal.
I think that
I could
this
be down with
shows.
that.
I think this shows just the opposite. That he doesn't need the animal to look cute to recognize it still has some moral
Then
justification for not killing
what was
him.
the point of him going after the hunt to begin with? Does he not eat the food?
He just wanted the means. He knew that they got fire, so he wanted the means to be able to take the stuff from the chews, which is why he didn't continue going on the hunt.
This is ridiculous.
And then it shows him that he doesn't want to hurt someone when he doesn't have to, and he'd rather sacrifice himself and get banished than have to unnecessarily hurt someone. And it also shows that he is different than the other humans, because he rises above his primal state, which is very starving right there, and realizes that he probably shouldn't kill this animal.
It felt forced to me.
No, it didn't. It was very nice.
It felt very forced.
They did a very good job. Thank you, Michael Dante
I think
DiMartino and Brian Konietzko.
your love for this episode is blinded.
That's ridiculous.
Love has blinded you.
I'm just looking. I just think that this is a very good showcase of the human condition, if you will, that we become more than just animals, and show a little bit of kind-heartedness.
Okay, you just blow off my Star Wars references now.
I didn't even hear the Star Wars.
The love has blinded you?
Oh, I don't want to talk
Episode
about that.
2, very vague.
Okay, yeah, so very good character development here. I think we're both in agreement on that.
So no, and then so the guys that he was with earlier on the hunt have came back out. They were the ones who set the trap for Moolah, and they fight or go to try to fight him, or does he cut down Moolah first and run away like a coward?
He doesn't cut down Moolah. He jumps in front of their fire.
Oh, he redirects it because they all is that the one where they all shoot at him at one time and he redirects it?
I don't think. No, he doesn't redirect it at this part.
When did
But
that happen?
he jumps up. It's I think that might be in the second episode.
I don't know.
But he jumps. Yeah, it is because it's when he meets his friends.
Oh yeah.
So he jumps over these guys and shoots fire down at them, and then runs off so that they'll chase him instead of going after the animal.
Which is dumb. I never got the whole distraction thing. If you're a group of like 6 guys and one guy's running away, all right, fine, split off. 3 guys go after him. 3 guys cut
I would
down the
say
animal.
at most 2 guys.
I think there was like 4 guys there, 4 or 5 guys.
Yeah. Okay. So send 2 guys.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Don't send a bunch of guys. Just have them chase down the one, and just for whatever purpose you think. You don't even need to chase Juan down. Juan didn't even do it at this point in time. Juan has done nothing to you. He's no longer in the way for you to get your food.
And so at this point, how did the cat deer get down?
I don't know.
Did he cut the rope? I don't think he did. But anyway, the cat deer gets out, and then it looks like Juan is down for the count. These 2 guys have him surrounded, and they're getting ready to attack him. But then the eye spirit shows back up and like morphs, like possesses this guy, straight up possesses him, and it turns him into this like weird.
Okay, so we kind of glossed over this a little bit. On his first day, I guess I don't know if I got interrupted. If you got interrupted, at Juan's first day in the spirit wilds, he went through a few things. He went into the grass and got sucked up by the grass, and then he went to go grab fruit, which was not actually fruit,
bees.
Just a hive of bees with
Spirit
shells.
bees.
Spirit beers.
Spirit beers.
Spirit beers. And there was, I think that was the last one, wasn't it? And so when he's running away from these guys, there's 3 of them on his tail, and he does the spirit grass with one of them, and the second one, or there's 4 of them. The first one is spirit grass, and the second one is the bees. He takes the bees and he throws it at the guys, and it picks them up and they fly.
Carries the one guy.
Carries the guy
to where?
And then there's 2.
Taking
there's 2 left, and let's see. That one guy, the eye shows up, and he possesses the second guy and scares off the first guy, and then he unpossesses the first guy, and then the guy looks at himself and scares himself and runs away.
Which is like the tree man from earlier. So apparently he got possessed by a tree spirit.
That's what we're getting.
Which it would have been really cool to have shown that tree spirit in the Oasis, but I do not think that he was there.
I wonder what the tree spirit was doing that he had to possess this guy.
I mean, just attacking him, probably.
Yeah, but we learn later that the spirits are just genuinely nice creatures.
Not all of them.
They're peaceful.
That's not true.
Which ones are not peaceful?
I don't know, but they're attacking him. They're like literally attacking him when he first goes out in the spirit wild. So I think maybe the smarter ones are peaceful, but then there's some like animalistic ones.
Okay.
I
suppose.
That's just what I'm saying. But we learn from I that there are more than one lion turtle in the world with cities on them.
So there's at least a dozen, I think is what he says.
That's what he says, yeah.
Yeah, which was cool if they all have their own respective elements.
They do not.
That'd be so cool, though, if there was 12 different elements and we only showed 4. That'd be cool. Hey, Knitsko, get on that.
But they already wrote, this is already canon.
I don't care.
They're not going to go back.
We didn't see all 12 lion turtles, though.
No, but we saw enough. Yeah, so at this point, the Mula, the deer cat, is it a deer cat like a meerkat? That's pretty funny.
No, I actually think it's an antelope cat.
Well, no, the subtitles, or I think they actually call it a deer cat. Anyway, or cat deer. I don't remember. So Mula vouches for Juan with the Eye Spirit to let him into the Oasis. And they do. And because the Eye Spirit's like, well, I saw you be kind-hearted back there. I saw this awesome character arc that you've had already come to a head, and I'm going to let you live in my Oasis for 2 years now.
Is it 2 whole years?
Yeah, well,
yeah, because they
train
him with he trains with the fire.
Yeah, so what's really cool is we get to see him actually learning the art of firebending, as where he'd been before just firebending. The dragons are now training him, or the one dragon that we see.
Which I kind of had a problem with when you first watch Avatar: The Last Airbender. They say that the dragons were the first firebenders.
The dragons are the first firebenders.
So why? Then why does a lion turtle just give the dragons fire bending? Then
he didn't. I don't think the lion turtles gave the dragons fire.
This is what I'm asking. I think bending is a complete separate thing. Like it's a power that the lion turtles give up. Like it's like, hey, take this.
I don't think necessarily. I think the
So you're saying the dragons just have fire bending?
Well, the dragons, yeah, because it's just an energy thing, right? Because
I don't know.
the lion turtles were able to give Juan all the different bending techniques, but I think that some animals or spirits should say have that energy already unlocked in them, whereas the dragons might have
Who's
already
to
had
say
that.
they do?
Well, I'm just saying this is that you say okay, so two things can be true at the same time. Lion turtles can give bending to humans, and the dragons can be the first firebenders.
So they had to have had, okay, so they had to have had been given the fire.
No, not necessarily.
I think the source of the bending is from the lion turtles.
But
That's what we're led to believe.
The lion turtles are only energy bending. They're unlocking the bending within.
And we haven't seen anybody else energy bend except for if they had the ability to do
humans,
it from the lion turtles.
Humans.
From the lion turtles.
We haven't seen any other humans, but that's not to say that these dragon spirits don't already have that energy inside them.
I just don't buy it.
That's like some humans are born with water bending, some are not. I think it's the same thing with dragons. I don't think the dragons necessarily got it from the lion turtles, though.
I don't know.
Humans and dragon are humans and dragons two different things?
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So they could have different like properties and energy makeups, right?
Yeah. But my thing is, I think just listen. What they're leading us to believe. Do not interrupt me. They're leading us to believe that all bending is coming from the lion turtles.
No.
Where are you not getting that from?
All bending in humans? Oh, yeah, of
all
course.
bending in everything. You don't see any other spirit bend ever. Ever.
The dragons firebend.
Okay, so then you're telling me that they should have gotten that from the lion turtles.
No, I didn't say that at all. Why does every bending have to come from the lion turtles?
That's what we're led to believe through this story arc right here.
We are led to believe that bending in humans comes from the lion turtles.
Then why haven't we seen any other creature bend?
That doesn't say anything outside. The dragons bend.
We saw that in Avatar. We don't see this dragon breathing fire or anything.
Okay, it's showing him what to do.
It's just showing him techniques.
It's showing him just
like physical technique.
Yeah, because they've perfected it.
I do not believe that.
They're firebenders. I don't know what's so hard to grasp. Why can't two things be true at once?
I don't believe that. I think it's continuity errors. I think it's
not a continuity error. That is
to.
not a continuity error.
I think that they set up one thing as the dragons being the original firebenders, and then they're like, well, we need to dive back into the first Avatar, and they took it all as the source of the bendings as the turtles, the lion turtles.
The lion turtles energy bend.
I think the lion turtles are the source of all bending.
I don't
and
think
they give it out themselves. Like that's what they do.
They give it to humans. I don't see how this is even remotely controversial.
I think you're arguing something that doesn't need to be argued.
No, okay, so they've said it's canon that the dragons were the first firebenders, right?
Yeah,
canon. Okay, so that's a fact. Dragons were the first firebenders. It's also canon that the first bending in humans came from the lion turtles.
All right, kids, buckle up. All right.
I don't know
Star
what else.
Wars. It's canon that Leia remembers her mother in the original trilogy. It's canon that Padme dies as their babies. Okay? It's canon both of those things happen. That can't happen. You can't remember your mother like that.
Okay, but this is not that is a continuity
it's
error
canon.
Where they say one thing that could not possibly be true.
Okay.
If the other thing is true.
It's canon in the original trilogy that Yoda trains Obi-Wan. It's canon in the prequel trilogy that Qui-Gon trains Obi-Wan.
Well, I mean, but we're talking about two different things.
All right, so that's the thing that could happen. He could have been trained by Yoda because Yoda was around.
Hey,
but it didn't
Yoda,
happen. It's just continuity errors happen. Accept it.
Yoda trains the younglings.
That doesn't mean he trained Obi-Wan.
What are you talking about?
We never saw that happen.
It doesn't matter.
We never saw that happen.
Okay, so the first thing I will agree with you with. Okay, so it's canon that that Leia knew Padme.
Yeah, in Return of the Jedi, she says, "I have glimpses of my mother."
They also, well, she's a Force user, so maybe. That's
not canon.
It's
in Legends. It's not canon, which sucks.
Okay, but it's very much hinted at.
Yeah, but it's not. Yeah, no, it's the Force is strong, but she's not a Force user.
Okay, but
I hope they reveal that in the Last Jedi. That'd be so awesome.
Okay, so what I'm saying is taking into account that this is actually a physical remembrance, that she actually has memories of her mother. You're saying that it's not possible because of one scenario they set up where Padme died in childbirth. The other one says that Padme was still alive. Those are two things that cannot be possible at the same time.
No.
Okay? These, in Legend of Korra, are two things that can be possible at the same time. The humans can be given bending by the energy bending of the lion turtles, and the first firebenders could be the dragons.
Okay, so
you can't argue against
so
that.
bottom line, I can. Bottom line, I still strongly believe that the lion turtles are the only ones who can give and take bending away. All right,
That's not true.
they gave that power to Aang though. So human wise,
Okay, but what-
hold on. Originally, they were the ones that could do that. So you're saying also on this side here, this other species, this other spirit thing of dragons can also conveniently bend fire. That's what you're saying.
Because we don't know that the energies are the same.
I don't think.
And what about Amon? Was Amon given energy bending by the lion turtle?
We still don't think he was. I still don't think he was energy bending. I still think he was just blocking chakras with blood bending.
Okay, but I mean, so what I'm saying is, and even if we're gonna go, so I don't believe this premise, but here's what.
Hold on. This is what this podcast was meant to be. Was a debate.
Really was it? I don't remember saying that.
This.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. I'm right and you're wrong.
No,
hold on.
You're
Hey,
wrong.
don't interrupt me. I give you the courtesy. Okay, so let's just say for a second I accept your premise that firebending was given to the dragons. Is that what you're saying?
From the lion turtles.
From the lion turtles. I don't accept that. I think it's different entirely. Let's just say that is the scenario. We see the firebending technique, as in the martial art, okay, given to Wan by the dragons because they have developed that. So, in that sense, they are the first true firebenders who have perfected the art.
Okay.
Is that fine? Can we agree on that?
I'm going to add a little bit more to that because I'm starting to come around because my brain has opened up a little bit to this. Let's say the source of all bending is the lion turtles, and then because you don't see the lion turtles bend. This is what I was mistaken in words.
The energy bend.
You don't see them actually flail around their energies and flail around like fires and stuff like that.
Well, we do see,
but we do
one
see,
fly.
I guess we see the one fly,
and the other one comes up from the ground.
So that's cool. But the fire one doesn't firebend.
No.
So it's solely firebending. Okay, solely firebending because I don't care about the other things with like the mole rats or whatever they are.
The badger moles.
The badger moles. So I don't care about those guys. But it would be cool if he just had the ability to firebend, didn't firebend, gave it to the dragons bent. They were technically the first firebenders.
Yes.
And then the dragons taught, since they were in the spirit wilds, and I went back to the lion turtle, since they were in the spirit wilds, maybe the dragons got banished. Maybe there's a whole other story here where the dragons preceded the humans on the backs of the lion turtles, and they had their respective like animals. Like there's badger moles on the earths, and there was a bunch of appas, flying bisons on the flying lion turtle, and whatever the other one is. What is it, fish? What was the original?
I don't remember.
Original waterbenders? Do we know?
It was the moon.
So that's dumb. The moon can't live on a lion turtle.
No, I don't think that. No, they don't. But that doesn't mean they.
No, I'm saying,
live.
what if all the original benders preceded humans, and they had their own, like prehistoric era where they lived on there, and they all got banished off the lion turtles? That'd be cool. And then they created humans like the dinosaurs.
Yeah. So okay. So then that brings up another interesting point. I don't know exactly if that's what you're saying, but since we don't see the lion turtles bend, right?
Right.
Even if they gave the firebending to the dragons would have been the first firebenders.
Yes, that's what I was saying.
Okay. So then we're in agreement.
Did I not throw that out there?
Yeah, you did. I didn't know if that's what you meant to say or not. Okay. So yeah. So either scenario, the dragons are the first firebenders.
Okay.
Okay.
I like the idea of there being a prehistoric bending colony of just animals and just fire bending, just for kicks and giggles, and then they get banished for just fire bending wrong. I don't know.
I don't think that. I think that's more of a human thing.
Like they all collectively get like banished. Like the badger moles get banished for earth bending incorrectly. I don't know,
because humans are originally flawed, and they have to rise above that, which is what Wan did.
Yeah, but are these mythical creatures also inherently flawed?
That's not what we're led
because they don't exist.
Okay, so
in reality,
we see like a sort of a thing. For 2 years, Wan is training in firebending and really training in spirituality. Also, is what we see, and we see he's got like a little beard now, and his hair's grown longer. Kind of
to
like
show the lapse of time.
It kind of looks like Zuko's hair, a little bit. It's just the length and stuff. But so after that 2 years, he says, okay, now I've learned all that I can learn here about firebending, and with you animals, I'm going to set out on my own. And the first thing he does is, in the world as we know it, he runs into these spirits running away from something. The what did they call them?
No, hold on. Does he not run into the monks first? Because he runs into the monks and then he runs into the spirits.
No, that's second. Because that's in the next episode.
Okay, my bad.
So yeah, he runs into these two spirits battling, and the other spirits are so afraid that they're running away, and they're just destroying like everything.
And the spirits' names are Rava and Vatu. Is that right?
Yes, Vatu.
Rava is the white one, and Vatu is the black and red one.
Yeah, so they're battling it out, and they're sort of talking to Juan because he's the only one that's really everyone else is running away. So he's come up and he said, "Hey, what's going on here?" And then we hear Vatu say, "This spirit has been tormenting me for 10,000 years. Help me out here. Really, help me beat this white spirit." And so Juan does. He breaks it up, and we instantly learn that Vatu is the spirit of chaos and darkness, and that Rava is the spirit of light and peace.
And I think there's some kind of moral to this little story here, guys.
Obviously.
Do not just break up any fight or mugging you see at all in life.
I don't think that's the moral.
Because the person that looks like the victim could be a dark spirit. They could take over the world.
The person at gunpoint could be a dark spirit, and we should probably let them die. So the moral of the story is, if you're getting robbed, you deserve to die. Is what I have gleaned from this. Okay, let's
So don't get robbed.
So that's the end of the episode. Is Korra saying, "Oh, I found you, Rava," because that's
dumb.
That's what
we needed.
Is that what
audience.
Aang told her earlier?
I don't know.
Like, you need to find Rava, and instead of telling you who Rava is, I'm just going to show you.
Yeah, I mean, it worked out for us because we enjoy these episodes. But
yes, so that's the end of this episode. Let's get into a little bit of trivia, which there is a plethora of trivia this week. For these,
a little bit
because people actually like these. The people living atop the air lion turtle. This is the wrong episode.
Yeah,
very sorry.
I live a bit.
Yeah, so the basic concept of the origin story used in these episodes was in development since book 2 of Avatar: The Last Airbender. But Michael Dante DiMartino, MDD, and BK didn't present the stories to the writers until much later.
Oh, man, I would have loved to see that in Avatar: The Last Airbender. I
That
would have
really
loved
cool.
to have had this already really good show and then make it better.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah, that would be super cool.
Because to me, Avatar: The Last Airbender stands on its own. Sorry. Avatar: The Last Airbender stands on its own as a really good show. Okay? And these two episodes by themselves are my favorite of overall series.
Really?
Yes. I think they take Avatar: The Last Airbender, make it better, they improve upon it just in 2 episodes. I think if we were to see if they would have maintained this atmosphere and this individual for an entire season, maybe, or an entire series.
That's what I was saying earlier.
That would have been awesome.
I think that they should have done Korra as Avatar 1 and just have this be the 3-season arc.
Have like a prequel to Aang. That would have been cool. I don't think you needed to go forward.
No.
I think take it back. I think that, because again, the whole steampunk 20s era style, it really throws me off. I don't like it. Why do you need bending? I mean, what
would have been super cool? Okay, so I know that we've gone over at length what they could have done instead of Korra, and that's not going to happen. But what if they named the show something other than Legend of Korra that didn't have Korra in the title? Halfway through the first season, they give us what we got here, where she gets knocked out and has to remember. And then it starts off with the entire rest of the show as Avatar 1. It's like a redirect, or a misdirect, I should say.
Okay, so like you're led to believe this individual protagonist is the main protagonist.
Yeah,
of the rest
so
of the series.
like maybe 4 or 5 episodes in, we get this.
So the
and
first season?
Yeah. And they set up the characters just enough so you're like, oh,
now,
what's going on?
I did like the first season, though, but I do see where you're coming from. That'd be really neat.
That would have been cool.
The second season kind of fell off. The second season not doing much for me.
I like the second season. I like the spirit stuff.
I like the bloodbending aspect of everything. And I like the friendship building actually makes sense to me. If there was if Asami wasn't in the show after, first time I brought up Asami.
Oh yeah, that's true. Because we don't get her in this episode at all,
which is great. If we didn't have Asami after Mako and her broke up, that'd be great. And I understand why Bolin would be in it because Mako and Bolin are brothers, and Korra's dating Mako. I can see why Bolin would still be in the show. But if Asami wasn't in it, and they maintain these just 3 core characters, I could get more on board with this show than I already am. But I'm not really all the way on board. I want to be sitting first class, man.
I think they need to change
I'm
Asami.
coach.
I don't say get rid of Asami. I say give Asami more while making her a better character.
Well, it feels like the easiest thing to do at this moment is to just do. If we just had like a supercut of the show without Asami, I don't feel like we would have much of a difference. Like after her little story arc in the first season is gone, I feel like we cut her out of the second season entirely.
Maybe in later seasons.
No, second season entirely. We haven't got to the third season yet on review, but on the fourth season, I know just cut her out entirely.
But see, I
feel like it wouldn't change anything.
I think
because they didn't give her anything to do.
Even though I didn't really pay much attention to the last 2 episodes, the Sting, she was pretty much a central part of that character. I think that her character works with Mako without Korra. If Korra wasn't there, Mako, Asami, and Bolin, that was an interesting episode. And I think it worked because Korra wasn't there. I think that the problem's not Asami, the problem's Korra.
The Legend of Asami.
Because I was much more interested in Mako, Asami, Bolin doing like a crime noir.
It was a good episode.
Yeah, so that I think that with what we're getting, the Avatar, that's what the big problem I'm running into. The Avatar doesn't really work in 1920s New York.
No.
It just feels weird.
It does. If we had this show turning into just benders like on the beat, that'd be dope.
Yeah, that would be super cool.
Like that'd be super awesome. But I
think cut Korra out and just make it about Mako, the cop who he has to struggle with all these dirty cops and stuff like that.
Like a buddy cop series where him and Bolin are these complete opposite buddy cops. Like because it's cool.
Mako's the hot.
We have an Earthbender and a
Bolin's the by the book cop.
That'd be awesome.
Never breaks the rules.
I could get up over that. We play good cop, bad cop.
We need to go back through these episodes and count how many times we've pitched an alternate show to Korra. Because we never did this with Avatar.
Just listen to us. Just listen to us. We know what we're talking about.
Yes. Give us some money and we'll write these episodes.
Or just give us some money. We're broke.
Okay. Next piece of trivia. In order to emphasize that the episodes are set in a much earlier time period, a unique art style was used to alter the appearance and aesthetics of the setting. The design was inspired by ancient ink wash paintings and woodblock prints of East Asia, and was achieved by changing the color palette, reducing lighting effects, and increasing stylizing. However, the basis for the characters remains unchanged. And we didn't talk about this in the actual part where we talked about the episode at all, but I love this. It's one of my favorite things about this.
I glossed over it. The art style.
Yeah, but I would have loved to talk about it more. But it really does give this a completely different feel from Legend of Korra. It harkens back to kind of like Aang, because Korra has a more, I wouldn't say muted color palette, but darker.
Yeah,
definitely a darker color
and
palette.
they're like the establishing shots and stuff like that. What I guess I don't know if you call them establishing shots in animation, but the establishing shots of like the setup and whatnot and the backgrounds, they're just really still and very in the background. Like they're not standing out. Like in Avatar: The Last Airbender, everything was very alive, you know.
That's
and
true.
They interacted with everything. Everything was moving. But I would like to see a whole series of, if they were so brave to do the different background art style with Korra, why would they not want to do a whole series of the art style with Wan?
Yeah,
that would be cool.
Which
people love these episodes, man.
I really do actually. I think the art in Korra is better than. I like it more than in Avatar. I love the backgrounds that sort of have this ink painting look. I think that's amazing.
I like them as just backgrounds. Like if it was a loading screen for a Korra game, that'd be dope.
Oh.
But I think it takes me out a little bit because they're two varying art styles.
I think it just makes everything,
characters and the backgrounds.
I think it just makes everything pop. It just makes what you're. I like it a lot. And they did what they did with Wan. They did it better with Wan. Like it looks even better with Wan, and I love that so much.
I do. Even though we know the beginnings of Wan and the end of Wan,
not yet.
Well, we're gonna get to it. I think it'd be cool to have a whole Wan series.
Yeah, it would be super awesome.
I would just name it The One and Only.
No, that's a terrible name.
And that would be the series name.
No, awful name. Maybe you could just go Avatar 1.
Come Wan, come all.
No. But no, Avatar 1 in parentheses WAN.
I could dig it, man.
And then a winking emoji.
There's no we.
Yes.
That's in the title.
Why hasn't there been a TV show with an emoji in the title yet?
Please don't.
You
Have you seen the Emoji Movie?
No, but it doesn't even have an emoji in the title, does it?
It has the name emoji. Why would it need an emoji itself?
But I'm just saying, isn't that the next logical step? Is go on to actually putting emojis in titles?
What is the fascination with emojis that you think sell a movie with that, or sell a title with that, or sell a show with that?
I'm just saying, there's got to be.
What's the attraction to that? I don't get it.
I don't know. People just like emojis.
Like the whole Minions craze. I don't get what the attachment is to Minions.
I mean, it's not for you. That's the thing. But other people like Minions.
I mean, so I use emojis on my phone all the time. But I wouldn't say, oh man, I use about 100 emojis today. Man, I would really like to see an emoji movie. That would be funny. That'd be something I would pay money to. That'd be something that I would take 2 hours out of my day and drive up to the local theater and spend $15 on tickets just to watch.
But think about the marketing for that.
I don't think.
But all emoji in the title. That's what I'm saying. Not even emoji at the end. All emoji title.
Spell out the word emoji with emojis.
No, absolutely not. But it's just like, I don't know, different emoji. 3 different emojis, I think, is your maximum. I think that's how you can get a title.
What emojis would you use?
I don't know. What's the movie?
Emoji movie.
The emoji. Well, I mean,
I guess the main character emoji.
Just the regular.
It's because he emotes differently. Like they all have their set emotions.
I don't care about the movie.
And then he emotes differently, and that's the whole progress.
Yeah, I'm still not caring about this.
Because it's not a good movie.
Oh, that's fine. We don't need to talk about it anymore.
Why did I watch it?
I don't know. Next piece of trivia. Avatar Yang Chen is the only known named Avatar not to appear before Korra. This is the airbending lady with the weird cutout in her head.
Which I completely forgot existed because she had like one scene.
That was the last time we saw a lion turtle.
Yeah, same time.
Yeah.
Which would have been a cool, larger callback if she also was in this episode.
I guess,
Turtles.
Did Janora look at her in the, like the Hall of Avatars or whatever they call it? I feel like she probably did.
She was probably in there somewhere.
Or no, she looked at Aang. I don't know. I feel like that would be the one she gravitated towards.
I want to get more into the Janora storyline, too.
Yeah.
If
I remember correctly, we do.
We do. But like that whole Boomy and Kaya and Ikki and Milo and even Tenzin sometimes. Tenzin is really close to Janora to me. But I don't want those guys in this story anymore. But I could totally dig a Janora story.
The next piece of trivia is the spirit telling Juan that the other lion turtle is on the other side of None of Your Business Valley recalls a scene in The Blind Bandit when an Earthbender student told Aang that Earth Rumble 6 was located at the Isle of None of Your Business.
You know what I don't need? These stupid callback pieces of trivia.
Because it's not really trivia.
No, so just skip it. Next.
Korra's attempt to reconnect with her avatar spirit by connecting with her past lives.
Stop. Right there.
Yep.
Next one.
Yep. This episode has a number of homages. Now, next one.
Actually, I kind of like that one.
No, it's fine. Juan's acquisition of fire through deception fits with the thematic theft of fire, in which an individual steals fire for the benefit of humanity.
Holy smokes.
Like, what's Prometheus?
That whole first line was like alliteration.
What?
Through deception fits with the thematic theft.
The
thematic theft.
I mean, that's a little... Okay,
like
the entire first line is a little much.
That'd be insane, though.
But yeah,
like Prometheus.
It's like Prometheus, where he stole fire from the gods.
Not the movie. Not the Ridley Scott movie, guys.
No. Of course not.
Which, why did they name that Prometheus? Because they weren't doing anything related.
I think Prometheus is just like the beginning, because that's when man got fire and was able to create all these different things.
That's fine.
That's just what I'm going to go with that. This episode marks the first time Naga does not make an appearance.
Thank God.
Thus making Korra the only character to appear in every episode of The Legend of Korra.
Which Juan was the only character to show up in every single episode.
In The Legend of Korra. It's still called The Legend of Korra. The technique Juan uses to separate Rava and Vatu is similar to a technique... Okay. The markings on the forehead of the fire lion turtle are identical to those on the head of the lion turtle who gave Aang the ability to energy bend.
Really?
Yeah. So this is,
I saw
ostensibly the same turtle.
There was a little bit differences between the lion turtles, I noticed. And my favorite lion turtle back was definitely the Earth lion turtle, because it looked very...
Yeah, because they did have, like, the fire lion turtle, it was kind of... it looked like a shanty town where all these things were just like thrown together
Yeah.
and no way or form. But the Earth Lion turtle was like concentric circles.
It looked like a
going up the top.
coliseum.
Yeah, it was really cool.
I didn't. I think, and what the airbending turtle was sparse.
Well, we haven't talked about either of these yet. We're not even. We need to probably move on to the next episode
and go.
What was that?
Did I say thanks?
Did you or did you say
Just
and
burp
go?
into the microphone.
I did.
You're disgusting.
On accident. What are you talking about? You do it all the time.
I doth not.
You do.
No.
There was no at least once in this episode you've already done it.
That does it for this episode. I think.
No. Oh,
Here,
you
right
mean this
there.
episode of the?
Stephen Yeun of The Walking Dead.
That's okay. That's fine. We already talked about that.
Oh, that was in 2013. Never mind. I was going to say he joins the Comic-Con panel in 2013.
I don't think we need to talk about this episode anymore.
No, we don't.
Yeah,
Next
let's
episode, guys.
Yeah. Do you want to take a break for an ad, or are we going to have time for that? It's already, ladies and gentlemen. In case you're I guess if you're listening to this episode, you probably know that we're at 56 minutes, which is a ridiculous amount of time for one episode to talk about. And we might talk about the next episode for just as long.
So if you can bear with us, buckle in, grab some snacks, and we're going to dive into the second episode.
I hardly have the overview pulled up.
All right. It's going to be a dramatic segue, but
oh, do you want to cut out there and come back in?
But I didn't have it.
What are your ideas for that, though?
I don't really know.
I feel like we should just power through this.
We should.
So this is the second part of the Juan storyline. It's basically just a continuation after we see Juan break up. What's her name? Rava and Utar.
Vatu.
So he breaks them up, and then we get the information that Vatu is the evil spirit, and now he's going to basically turn everything dark. And we do get, I think we do get in this episode about the harmonic convergence a little bit.
He does kind of just say the harmonic convergence. Vatu does.
See you at the harmonic convergence.
Bum, bum, bum.
That's exactly how it goes.
Yeah. But so Vatu does get bigger, if you notice, as soon as they separate.
Yes.
And Rava,
because they're about the
smaller.
same size at this.
They're
point.
pretty big. They're probably a few stories tall. And
what are you basing that information on?
They were quite a bit taller. Size wise,
I mean,
Juan was probably the size of a regular man. Probably over 5 foot. And then they were much bigger.
Okay, but I don't know if we had exact scale. They were in the distance, and
Vatu, was just bigger.
We don't know how dimensions work in the spirit world, so you don't,
bigger.
or the spirit wilds, I guess I should say. I mean, I don't know how you can say a couple of stories tall. At least you don't really know. You don't really. I mean, you don't really know.
But I could say Juan was short.
I mean,
5 feet.
How?
Let's just state that one story is 10 foot tall.
I doubt that he's
so
5 foot.
We're looking at quite a few Juans.
We don't know exactly. That's all I'm saying is we just don't. We don't have that in front of us. I mean, you could. There's a lot of like depth of field that might distort things in the background or whatever. I'm just saying. That's all I'm saying.
I'm not sure.
I mean, I'm just saying that you can say it.
Yeah.
You could say it, please. Say it. No, say it.
No.
Yeah, just say it for me, please. You got that overview, Harley.
Beginnings Part 2 is the 8th episode of Book 2 Spirits of the Legend of Korra. And that is not the overview. Holy smoke. I had it pulled up and then it just clicked off of itself.
Oh, did you?
Juan's spiritual reflection shows Korra how he learned the other 3 elements and the reason why he eventually merged with Rava and became the first Avatar.
Spoilers.
His story makes Korra realize what she must do to restore balance to the physical and spiritual worlds.
Okay, so we start out this episode again with the fire lady who's like doing something with Korra. She's like, no, Korra's not done with her spirit quest or whatever. I don't even know what it is. But then we cut right back to the world of Juan, and the first thing that he does is like try to head off to some of these different these different places that have different people because he's trying to expand his mind or whatever.
Does he? So he doesn't meet the Airbender monks.
Well, that's
airbending to get fruits in the first episode.
That's what. No, this because
that's this episode.
Yes, because they show up and he sees these guys that look a lot like airbenders, mainly because of the tattoos, even though they're a little bit different.
Yeah, they're not arrows. They're
but they're
like almost anchors at the end.
Well, no, what it is, it comes down and then it like goes like the blue line comes down and then either side goes out a little bit and then kind of back up, kind of like hooks. And then there's a dot at the end where the tip of the arrow would be. So it's kind of like someone took that tattoo and filled it. Do you need? I'll show you a visual.
No, I see what you're talking about. I know what you're talking
So
about.
it's like, and this the podcast listeners that you want to follow along at home, we'll put this image up on.
If you guys just want to quickly just draw down a line 2 inches on one side.
You say 2 inches?
I would say it looks like 2 inches.
Yeah, probably.
Probably 2 inches.
Well, you mean this line?
Yeah, okay.
That's more like
and then
one.
at the top of the line, okay, if you want to draw to the left of the line, just about a quarter of an inch.
I'd say half inch.
About a half inch to the left?
It's about
okay.
half inch.
And then on the bottom, do the same thing parallel to the top line.
Yes.
Draw it out about half inch.
And then parallel to those lines.
Right in the middle. Separate about quarter of an inch.
Yes. And on either side of that quarter and separate. Don't draw a line there because that won't give you what you want. But, I mean, if you have line paper, it's about the width in the center of 2 lines. And then so that attaches, so you have those 2 are longer because that's actually the top of the head right here, if you can see. So the head kind of goes like that.
Yeah, I can see that.
And it's a little pointed at the top because this guy,
now what I'm looking at, what you just drew, actually, if you look at the first line, the small half-inch line,
yes,
and the half-inch line at the bottom there, it looks like horns.
But you're looking at it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it kind of does.
Yeah,
it might be like a.
It kind of reminds me of
there you
Appa.
go. That's actually a good point.
Maybe they were drawing parallels that.
So then, what you want to do if you're looking at that and you see like the Appa thing, you're gonna just want to draw his like little nose down there as a.
You're gonna want to come down right in between the 2 big lines.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to come down about half an inch, and you want to draw one big circle in between both of them on the opposite side of the 2-inch line.
So then this is what it would look like if you want like draw some dotted lines at the end of those little sort of half-inch lines. Draw some dotted lines out, and then connect those with the circle, and voila!
Come down. You're gonna have like a little dotted line of triangles there. Okay,
You got an arrow.
You got yourself an arrow.
So that's cool, and very good podcasting.
Good visual podcasting.
Visual aid. I might put that up. Maybe, probably not. Yeah. So he meets these airbender wannabes. Who are actually airbending, and they're not just airbending; they're flying around.
They're also not murdering animals. Like I love how they automatically, at the very beginning of their existence, they were vegans. Like they were just like, let's get plants.
Well, because these guys are more in tune with the spirituality, as we see, because they actually have spirits living within the lion turtle.
And I would call it a camp because they look very huttish
and
very camp-like. And then you show Juan talking to the airbenders, and
because he goes onto the back of this lion turtle who's floating over the side of this cliff, and because at the beginning when he saw the airbenders, they were kind of scared of him because I don't think that they'd ever seen anybody else.
Also, they all look the same.
Yeah, that's true,
and
that's a little racist.
But they're all dressed the same, and they all have the arrows, and they're all bald.
And at one point, I think in the earlier episode, when Juan finds out about the other lion turtles, he says something. I thought we were the only people, and one of the spirits says, "Well, every people thinks they're the only people, really."
Yeah.
So they'd never seen a Juan before. But he goes up to their compound, their hippie commune, and he's like he's talking to him, and he's telling him about what he's trying to do, how he's trying to go around and like meet all these different people. And one thing that was really cool that I think you brought up first during the episode is the art style of the wind, like the airbending.
They resemble. They're not transparent anymore. They resemble clouds.
It's super cool looking.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Which would be super weird if they just bent clouds.
Yeah, it's only clouds
in Korra's world.
But they're flying around. They're like they not like Aang would fly around. But like just using air on their feet to fly, which is crazy because no one else does that really.
So here's a question. So the lion turtles have the town on their back, right?
Yes.
Okay. When the Fire Nation turtle thingy was giving away the firebending, they were in front of him on a separate cliff, and he was touching them, reaching out. Because obviously I don't think turtles can reach behind them.
Yes.
Okay. So he's reaching out and touching them with his little claw thingies. The airbenders we see fly onto the back. with
No.
with airbending. So do they just keep their airbending because
No,
the
no,
lion turtle just trusts them?
No, because we do get to see them
That
get
is that is a separate city, a separate colonization.
Yes, but we do get to see the lion turtle taking their bending away.
He
because
does?
I don't know if there's another cliff in front of him,
I don't remember seeing that.
but or he might be holding up his other hand and they're standing on it, and then he takes their bending. But I do remember him taking the bending away from them again.
I remember him giving the bending to Juan, but I don't remember him taking the bending away.
Because when the spirits, so what happens? Juan shows up, and he's talking with these benders, these airbenders, and the spirits that are all around them, just sort of living in harmony with them, start turning bad because we've learned that Vatu has showed up there, and the airbenders are defenseless at this point because they don't have. I don't know if they would have done.
They don't really use their bending for action aggressiveness.
They wouldn't have. I don't know if they would have done anything anyway. But even like trying to get away from these spirits, they were still defenseless. So I think that they probably did get their bending taken away. But Vatu does show up, and all these spirits start freaking out and going crazy. Not unlike the spirits back in Korra's world.
Which I think the spirits have a certain sense of
Justice.
consciousness. And then when Vatu shows up, their primal instincts just take over.
Probably, yeah.
So,
I would say that's probably the closest. To
because
what
we
it
get
is.
some of that at the end of this episode with Ai. He comes back up, and then he kind of just... And that's the most personality we've gotten from an individual spirit. So, and then he turns into this evil spirit. So that's pretty cool. I think that's why I think that.
So, what happens next? I think that
He says he has to...
he has to learn more than one bending to be able to try to defeat Vatu, because what's the other one's name?
Rava.
Rava shows up and he ends up saving everybody from the spirits and kind of turning them back. But I think that Juan has in his mind that he has to team up with Rava in order to defeat Vatu, because Rava is significantly smaller at this point, and Vatu is significantly larger.
Yes, and the reason why he keeps Rava around, obviously, other than to reunite them, is because he talks to the lion turtle and says, "Hey, I kind of need your bending as well." And the lion turtle goes, "Well, I can't give you two bendings. I'm going to give it to Rava. She's going to hold on to it, and whenever you need to use this bending, she can just like switch them out or whatever." So he can't have them both activated at the same time. So that's settled up pretty early on.
Well, no, he does end up getting it.
What do you like? No, not at the same time. He doesn't have fire and air at the same time. He can't hold them both.
Are you sure?
That's at the end of it. Remember when?
Oh, okay. Okay, that makes sense then. Yeah. So, oh, and another thing that I thought was weird in this episode is when Rava shows up to the air lion turtle, she calls it Ancient One, which is weird because she says she's been around for. I think that.
Maybe that's just how they address each other.
Yeah, but I think that it's like, oh, these lion turtles are older than even light and darkness, because I think at one point in this episode, Vatu says, I lived 10,000 lifetimes before you even like showed up or something like that to Juan, and his lifetimes are 10,000 years long because they're fighting the entire time. So that's a crazy amount of time for a lion turtle to be older than them.
I mean, that's a crazy amount of time for a spirit to be around.
That's what I'm just saying. You think of like light and darkness as like the first things, but as we learn, I think that they're saying the lion turtles have been around since before that.
Like they're like God.
Kind of.
Maybe they created Rava.
Maybe
They got together as like a council.
it doesn't sound.
Create these things.
It doesn't really sound like that to me, but you never know. Could be.
Maybe. Who knows?
And also, we right after. Oh wait, no, I wrote this down later. But so then we get like sort of a montage of Rava and Juan training, and he's getting all these different bendings, and he's mastering them.
Which is when we see the different lion turtles. We see the earth lion turtle and we see the water lion turtle. Which I don't remember the water lion turtle.
No, I don't remember. I think we did get to see it.
Didn't stand out to me, I guess.
Probably not. But then Juan runs across some of his old buddies from his human days.
Oh, and they are grown up now because it's been a couple of years. And so we glossed over that entire thing. When Juan came back to the original two guys, remember we said Jaya and Yao. Remember I told you guys to hold on to that name, Jaya. So Yao has passed away. We learned that from Jaya because Juan meets up with Jaya again in a group of people. And so Jaya comes back with a bunch of people, and we saw that earlier. It was either in the beginning of this episode or the into the last episode.
I think it was in the last episode.
Yeah, we completely glossed over that
because they learned that Juan was still alive, and so they're like, hey,
we can
survive out there.
Yes.
Let's just go get fire and live out there.
So they got the fire from the lion turtles, and they live out there. And you're like, okay, that's cool. That's the beginning of civilization as we know it in the land of Korra and Aang.
The end of the world as we know it.
And I'll be fine.
I feel fine.
That's fine.
Was the
something fine, finer
and
than wine?
What?
Fine.
Strawberry wine.
Strawberry wine.
And the Edge of 17 by Stevie
Don't
Nicks.
push me because I'm close to the edge.
Oh, there you go. Is this the new podcast? Us just sort of non sequitur, just word association of songs. Yeah, that's interesting. Where were we?
Okay, so the Jaya and his little group of his little posse he has move out, and that's the beginning of their civilization. And so
that's the beginning of all civilization outside of
really,
Lion Turtles, basically.
Yeah. So that's awesome, but then we see
good job, Jaya.
Yeah, well, bad job, Jaya.
Yeah, so Juan and Rava, they smell fire, and they're like, or did they smell fire? Or did they smell smoke? You know what? What has the smell? Does fire smell like anything?
Let's create a study. I got fire right here.
That was terrible.
The sound the fire makes.
That was awful, and I hate everything about it. And we're gonna cut it out of the podcast.
Okay, edit.
So yeah, they smell smoke, and it's coming from some fire that that Jaya and
we're gonna call this group the Degenerates. Okay,
are we?
We are.
I'm not.
The Degenerates.
I refuse to let that catch on.
Well, the Degenerates. They decide that they're going
to go
out
podcast?
And cut down, I don't know, maybe, cut down trees using fire, which is, fair, I suppose.
I mean,
but fair.
They should just create tools.
Yeah. Earthbending would have been better. You could create your own earth spears and stuff like that, stone spears. How cool would that be? Stupid.
But yeah, so apparently they've been just cutting down all these trees and fending off the spirits. And these are the same spirits that Juan is friends with. And these spirits are fed up with this. So they're going to come back and kill all these humans. And the humans are going to kill all the spirits. And Juan's like, hey, can't we all just be friends and get along? I'm sure there's some compromise that we can get to. But the spirits are yelling at this one side. They're saying, well, these are just stupid humans or what have you.
Degenerates.
No. And then the humans are like, well, the spirits are trying to kill us, so we got to kill them first. So I think that a little bit of this is due to Vaatu, because we've seen that before, the spirits aren't necessarily prone to violence, or at least these spirits. But I think that they have been agitated somewhat by Vaatu's presence, and Vaatu actually being more powerful than Rava. And so now they're going to take matters into their own hands.
Yeah, and Rava was saying that Vaatu actually feeds off of like the anger and fear and stuff like that. So as they get angrier, Vaatu gets stronger. And we see this little cool thing as the commotion starts to escalate, as they start to get at each other's throats more. And Juan is in the middle of it all. A thundercloud rolls in. And as lightning strikes in the thundercloud, we see a cool little...
the thunder rolls and the lightning... No, okay, continue.
We see a cool little... image flash real quick of Vaatu in the clouds.
Yeah, that's super cool.
That was cool to me, and apparently cool to Caleb. That's really it.
Thanks for that. Yeah, and then that's when these spirits like freak out and they get all staticky and they look they're more transparent.
Freak out.
I don't think we need to do this anymore. I think that this is just bad. It's just bad for everyone. I don't like it. The listeners definitely do not like it. But yeah, so they get staticky, the spirits being, and they like revert, like you said earlier, to their like primal instincts, just wanting to kill things. But they still have intelligence because they're still speaking, which is weird.
Yeah, his whole voice changes. Did they get another voice actor for that, or did D. Bradley Baker just do? Was it D. Bradley Baker?
No,
it was...
D. Bradley Baker did Moolah. This is a different guy. I think it's Jason
Marsden.
Yeah. Which is James Marsden and Brad Marsden's brother.
Who Brad Marsden is.
He's made up. Yep. He is a fictional. Yeah, so this is when they fight because Juan is powerless to do anything against them. No, because he merges with Rava.
Yeah, but then he's like, well, I need to merge with you so I can have the power to defeat this crisis. And so she goes, if you do, then I will kill you. Not a threat, but like,
it's going to kill you if I do.
And so he's like, I don't care. This needs to stop. And so they combine their powers, and they create like this better version of Juan. And
it works for a second too.
He uses all the powers. Is that right?
Yeah, and it calms the spirits down for a little bit, and the humans calms them down. But then it does what Rava was warning them against it, and it's too much for him to handle at this point.
Which I have beef with again at the end of this
Why?
episode. At the end of this episode, the same thing happens, and he's fine.
We'll get into that a little bit. I have an explanation for that.
Please have an explanation for that. It was dumb.
Yeah, so Vatu ends up winning, and all of Juan's friends are dead. I think the spirits aren't dead, but all the humans are dead because the spirits killed them, obviously.
Home turf advantage, bro.
So now what happens is this drains Rava even further, and at this point she's just she. Is that safe to call her she? I think it's a female voice, but she's just like this little like.
He puts her in a teacup.
Yeah, a teacup. She's teacup size. I think it's the teacup that he actually poured tea out of earlier in the episode.
Took it with him,
which is great continuity. Yeah, so he puts her in a teacup and is carrying her around because Vatu mentions the harmonic convergence. And we had learned early in the episode the harmonic convergence is once every 10,000 years when Rava and Vatu fight, and one of them will defeat the other one.
But it has always been Rava who's won.
Yes.
Which is why craziness hasn't destroyed
taken over the world.
Which we can be led to assume that is what LoK is doing, maybe?
Oh, yeah, I would assume so. Because what happens is
maybe
they go to the southern spirit portal, because the portal to the spirit world is only open on the North and South Pole, but there's no spirits in there because they've all been, we find out they've been released into the world by Vatu. That's what he says. He says, I was the one that bridged the link between the spirit world.
Okay.
So he let them in there. And so they go to the southern portal where Korra had opened the portal. And yeah, I mean, there's no other way to say that than what I said. But Juan travels there and he carries Rava there. And they go into the spirit world, which is super cool the way they did it, because it's set up like a disc.
A giant disc, like a field.
Flat Earth confirmed. And it's like the way everything is stylized, the ridges in the ground form the yin-yang with the portals on each of the different circles in the yin and the yang.
Which was awesome because they turned into, like, they folded into each other and created a gateway that led into the world.
So when the harmonic convergence actually happened, these two portals that were just like beams of light up into the air actually came down on each other and created the gateway, where, because this is the time when the spirit world is most connected to the human world.
Yeah, and what was I going to say?
I don't know.
I don't know either. Thank you for that. Rava, thank you.
Yes.
That's her name. I couldn't think of her name. She is now just a teeny tiny size in a teacup. And Juan is like, or Vatu says, "Hey, I'm gonna kill you, Rava. What up, bro?" And then Juan goes, "No, you're not, dog. You got to get through me first. So let's do this." And they fight. And Juan's getting his butt kicked. So he goes, "Hey, listen, Rava, we got to combine our energies to defeat Vatu if we want to get out of this alive and if we want to save the world." And so they do. After she warns him that if I do this, you could die. And he goes, "I don't care. It will be fine."
Yeah, so they merge, and things are going pretty well. He's like, his bending stuff is cutting through Vatu.
Now explain to me your theory or whatever your answer was.
So what happens, it's kind of working for a while. It looks like Vatu's on the ropes.
As to why it doesn't kill him.
But then it starts affecting Juan, okay? So he's getting like jittery, and it looks like the energy is just going to rip him in half. Well, then the harmonic convergence happens, and the portals link. And Vatu knocks Juan up against one of the ridges where the
he
portal
does
is.
touch the portal. I forgot
So
about
he
that.
touches the portal, and what that does is makes him the link between human and spirit, which is Rava, and seals them together for eternity now. So he's the link between the two worlds, and they're combined. So is that? I
did forget he touched the portal. It's loose, but
I don't think there's any like scientific explanation, but I think that's
just your individual
it's the
theory.
the symbolic thing is by having both the human and the spirit, and then touching the link between the human and spirit worlds, it sealed them together and made them one. So they're one entity now.
That's fine. So as this one entity, they defeat Vatu.
Not only defeat him, because Rava had been defeating him for eons, but he would always come back because there can't be light without dark, and there can't be dark without light. What Juan and Rava do as the Avatar now are seal him.
Well, it's cool during the fight because, like you said, every time he hits Vatu, he rips chunks of Vatu off. So now Vatu is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Not quite to the size that Rava was when she merged with Juan, but he's still getting smaller enough to where they can seal him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So they seal him in the tree, which is probably like the tree of life, or like
which is right in the middle of the yin yang symbol.
Yeah. So they put him in there, and I don't know exactly what he's just encased in all these elements and sealed in this tree. And then I guess after they defeat Vatu, Juan goes back to the human world, I guess you'd call it at this point, and rounds up all the spirits and says, "Hey, I'm going to be the link between our two worlds now, but you have to go back to your world."
But segregation is required.
Yeah, basically. Because the spirits and humans can't really exist together, but I'll be there to be a bridge between you two.
So he sends them all to their respective worlds, and then he closes both portals.
Yes.
Which is pretty cool.
So then that's when we can glean that's what Unilok is doing. Unilok wants to open the portals.
And undo all that Juan has done.
Yes, why? And when did he figure this out? Because he had to have had that in mind.
Hey, so I don't quite remember the season. Like I said, it didn't really stood out to me.
Uh-huh.
But maybe he is wanting to do what Rava and Juan did. Maybe he wants to link up with Vatu and become an all-powerful, like an anti-avatar. How cool would that
why?
Be? I don't know, just for power, dog.
So
he's evil.
But the only thing is, he couldn't be an anti-avatar. He couldn't bend all the elements, right?
No, maybe not. But like spirit-wise.
Okay, so
he'd be the spirits.
That's
version.
True. Yeah, I guess that he would. It would be a unbroken bond that he would like reincarnate.
That'd be pretty cool, as long as like Vata didn't take over Unilok.
Yeah,
which is known to happen with evil people.
Is it?
Yeah, Crash Bandicoot 3.
Yeah, that. You know, that's the great moral dilemma of Crash Bandicoot 3.
You shut your mouth.
Yeah, so he takes Juan takes all the spirits and puts them back in and seals it off, and now he is the Avatar. And in a really cool thing at the end of this episode,
the one and only,
it shows that the lion turtles are like, "Hey, the time of us protecting humanity is over. We're going to give you this bending and send you out into the world," and then sort of take like the back seat. And it shows this giant war that's happened because these people don't really mix together. And the end of the episode is old Juan sitting dying, and we get to see actual reincarnation.
He's in the this war zone. He's laying up against the stone, and he's talking to Rava, saying that he failed her. And she goes, "You haven't failed me. We'll be together forever." And then as he dies, his essence, or his like spiritual essence,
I guess it comes out of his mouth.
In essence, his spiritual essence. Kind of comes out of his mouth and disappears, and then the screen fades to white, and then you hear baby crying, which is the next
second avatar, yeah,
which is cool. We don't know the second avatar's name,
which people probably freaked out because they don't know what that is. Like, how did everyone know what the avatar was at that point until they just have a baby who can bend?
Parents
everything.
are just like, "What is this?"
Going into the avatar state, like
that'd be so awesome.
That would be really weird.
But no, that's the. Then we go back to Korra, and Korra's laying in her tub of water net thingy, and it says some words that we don't care about. And then that's the end of the episode.
Okay, so wouldn't that be really cool if what if they go back to Juan and then they do a series, or not even a series? Well, I'm just saying like an overall.
If we had a live action series of him in the war.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying Juan's done. Okay, or we start the first series, but I'm saying create an entirely new show where each season is a different avatar, and we get sort of like a one-off story,
like a Doctor
of
Who,
each
like
avatar,
Doctor Who kind of thing.
Yeah, basically, that's exactly what it would be. Doctor Who of the avatars,
That'd be
a
cool.
live action Avatar Doctor Who.
Or are you just saying seasonally though? Like how many episodes would you want per season?
I would say.
Would you want to see them progress age wise?
No, I would
because
say
I like the old Juan.
Yeah, I don't know. See, that's a weird thing.
And
maybe
we got old Roku and young Roku and ATLA.
Yeah, maybe you do have them. I don't know. That presents a problem. But I'm maybe like an anthology.
We'll hash out the details
where
later.
it's just one story I think one story per avatar, just a really concise story that tells a good story and then moves on to the next avatar.
That'd be cool.
Maybe each series or each season ends.
They would have an
depth
endless
of
amount of good shows.
Yeah, because I think so the harmonic convergence. At the very end of this episode, Korra wakes up and the fire lady says, "Do you know what you have to do now?" She's like, "Yeah, I have to go for the harmonic convergence or something like that. I have to go close the portal." And she's like, "Oh, well, you better hurry because the harmonic convergence is in like a couple days." And I think what we're led to believe is the harmonic convergence occurs every 10,000 years.
So the first of the 10,000 years was Juan.
So has it been 10,000 years since Juan?
If you're saying it's only you're only saying that it has been one harmonic convergence.
That's what I'm thinking.
If there was if there was one in between it, that could be 20,000.
That's a lot of years, though.
That'd be a lot of avatars.
Yeah,
think about that.
Ton
Brian
of avatars.
Konietzko, Michael Dante DiMartino could have so much material there, though.
But I think they already have material. I don't think they want to do it anymore because they've moved on to different projects.
Yeah, think about that. That's what I was thinking here recently too. But they're talking about how every time M. Night Shyamalan brings up Avatar, the next Airbender.
The next Airbender. That's what they could call it. Avatar, the next Airbender.
They're like, yeah, we want to be on board with that. Like they seem excited about their own, like their baby, But I don't think
they want to spearhead.
You wouldn't want to spend your whole life in one thing, like his.
I think what we need to do is
create something and then pass it off.
JJ, we need JJ Abrams it. Whereas he's a big fan of Star Trek, big fan of Star Wars. He comes in, sets something up.
He revitalized those two properties.
I think we're about at that point with Avatar, as where the fans of it are now in a position to make something that could call back to the original series and how great it was. And I think that's what we need: a fan-based, not fan-based, but someone who's a fan to take over the reins.
Someone
and do it well
in the realm of Hollywood.
Yes,
who is a fan of ATLA and will do this justice. Not like a fan show, like a 30-minute long live action poor costume design with impressive CGI for some reason.
Yeah,
I never got that. Like the costumes are never nice, but the CGI was always good in those fan videos. But anyways, yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be really cool.
I think that's going to happen, honestly, and it might be another 20 years. But if things keep progressing the way they're progressing, remakes are always going to be around. And we're just going to keep finding things to remake.
And it's been what? It's been 5 years since we got the beginning of Korra? I can't remember when it ended. I can always forget.
I think 2012. Yeah, so. Or it might have started in 2000. No, it ended in 2014.
Yeah, okay. It started in 2012. But, I think that'd be pretty neat. And like I said, if you say, I mean, you're not going to have a bunch of them because they said what? Kyoshi lived for like 600 or 700 years, something like that. So
did she?
That's almost 1,000 years.
Yeah.
So that's one avatar for a tenth of that cycle.
That's true.
But if some of them only lived for like 30 years, like Kuruk, I think he lived, found love, and then died.
Okay,
like that's the end of him.
Yeah, and some of them didn't do that much. But
Roku lived till he was like what 80 or 90.
Because the original show takes place over about a year, right? So there's plenty they could do.
I would love to see Kyoshi though. Because she lived so long.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I think that we could see her natural progression of age, and she was very temperamental, I think, and aggressive, which was awesome. But don't make us hate her like we hate Korra.
Yeah,
that's all I gotta say.
I don't hate Korra though. I honestly don't. I like the show.
Leave it at that.
These are definitely the best episodes so far.
Yeah,
like just hands down. And I think that we could go back and revisit these, or at least Avatar 1. Okay, is that the end of the episode, right? Setting up for the next one with the harmonic convergence, and that's probably about the end of the season.
Is it?
I don't know exactly
No,
what
not the end of
episodes
season.
are. Well, it's probably getting pretty close.
Close, yeah.
Okay, let's get into some trivia. The people living atop the air lion turtle bear tattoos that look similar to those later bestowed upon master airbenders. Yeah, I mean, that's obvious, because they're on the air lion turtle. That's where the airbenders came from, I guess. Great trivia there. The rock formations dotting the area in which the earth lion turtle lives bear a resemblance to Monument Valley.
Okay, so I don't know what Monument Valley is.
It's a place out west in Western United States.
Well,
It's
I've never gone traveling or been into geography.
Okay, listen to me. It's where the opening sequence of Indiana Jones 3, Last Crusade, was shot with the River Phoenix.
Okay.
Yeah, that's Monument Valley.
Okay.
They actually shoot a lot of shows there.
Really?
Or movies, yeah.
Rest in peace, River Phoenix.
I wouldn't go that far.
I did.
The order in which Juan and Rava receive the ability to bend additional elements establishes the order of the Avatar cycle.
Okay, I thought I
fire, air, water, and earth.
I thought I recognized that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
which is the same thing Aang did when he fought the Fire Lord. He did the same exact thing.
Are we to assume that Wand was technically a firebender and that the next Avatar is an airbender?
I would say so, since he was fluent in fire first.
Fluent in fire first. I guess. I don't know.
It's fun. So the person to succeed him was some airbender.
We're gonna assume, yeah.
And by that point in time, it had to have been hereditary or a gene thing now, because he died at probably. Is
it a gene thing?
He was very old. Well, it became a biological thing when people were having babies.
And I think it's more of a spiritual thing.
I
don't think you get the Avatar gene. I think that this.
Okay, is this what we talked about before with like the midichlorians thing? Like it was kind of like a midichlorians count.
Yeah,
it was just passed on. It depended. Like this person might have more midichlorians, this person might not.
Well, I don't think it's like that though.
Because Boomy didn't have any at all.
Oh, you mean bending?
Yeah, like bending.
Oh, I was talking about the Avatar cycle.
No.
Okay.
Like bending being passed on.
Yeah, I think it's a lot like midichlorians, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe not as scientific, but...
That's what I'm saying. So, at this point in time, bending in general is biological. Like
it's always been biological.
Two people have babies,
yeah.
And that baby... Two benders have a baby, and that baby is a bender.
Yeah, or not.
Or not, But
I don't know about when
is it the
people
dominant?
stop bending.
Is it a dominant gene, though?
I don't think it's a gene thing. I think it's just is. You can be a bender or not.
Fun.
And I don't know if we can say it's a dominant gene or a non-dominant gene. Are there more benders than non-benders? No, probably not. Right?
Do benders interbreed?
Well, yeah, Bolin and Mako.
Like more often than...
Well, not at this point, because they're in tribes.
Fair.
Yeah. Okay, next piece of trivia. The scene when Juan and Rava notice a burning smell is similar to a scene in Princess Mononoke, where San and Moro notice a burning smell. Both result in a standoff between humans and spirits. What's with all the...
You kind of glossed over the last Studio Ghibli thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of Studio Ghibli stuff, which I know that MDD and BK are very influenced by that. But I don't know if everything has to correlate to Studio Ghibli.
I mean, I've heard they're good. I haven't watched Spirited Away all the way through.
I'm not saying that they're bad. I'm just saying...
So I could see where they get a lot of their, in all that stuff from.
Yeah,
inspirations from.
But I would rather with a trivia have trivia that is directly correlated to...
Yeah, not parallels.
Yeah, not parallels. Stuff that you wouldn't necessarily know. Like, you could piece that together because...
Like this last one.
The flying bison core mounts is missing the tip of one of its horns.
Like, that's just a piece of trivia that we're like, okay, that's cool. Like, you just read it and we talk about it. Not a big deal. But not a parallel like, oh, this reminds me of the one time that Aang washed up on shore,
like
too.
Like this. Just like Avatar Roku's origin story, Avatar Wan's story ends with the crying of a baby, signaling the birth of the next Avatar following his death. Of course.
Like, they didn't even try with the trivia on these.
Yeah, no.
Like, why?
The ones in...
You had to actually try for the ones in ATL.
I think people just don't care about this as much. I think that's what it is.
That's fair.
And there is a lot more trivia in this one than there is...
Yeah, these episodes stand alone.
I do like this other piece of trivia, and I think we'll end on that. But when Juan fights Vatu after permanently merging with Rava, Aang's theme from the original series can be heard in the background. And I noticed this during the episode. It's a little bit different than just straight Aang's theme.
Also,
it starts off. It sounds kind of like Aang's thing, but with some notes like drawn out and just in a different style. And then when he actually is locking up Vatu, it's just straight up full Aang's theme, and it sounds really cool, and it's really impactful. I feel like, but yeah, I think that's it.
I concur, Doctor.
Yeah. So excellent episodes. We're both very, very happy with this week's episode.
Two of the best, which is why you got a 3-hour podcast on your hands now, folks.
Yes, I'm probably gonna cut this down to like 20 minutes, so it's probably not all gonna make it in.
It's not even gonna be good cuts. It's just you got to cut it random places.
Yeah, I'm just gonna pick. Send us on our Twitter just random time codes that you'd like us to cut, and I'll just cut those out. Speaking of Twitter, you can follow us on Twitter at boysintheberg or email us at boysintheiceberg@gmail.com.
Speaking of, we had an email this week. We'll get to that next week.
Yeah, probably.
That was our bad.
I feel like we maybe not read that on the air. That's a little personal. I mean, yeah. Oh, we don't have time to do that.
No,
anyway.
we don't.
As always, I've been Caleb Ader.
And I'm Harley Davis.
This has been The Boys in the Iceberg, and we will see you here next week.